Hey Fuzz, Lerks here. Thanks to Duende Fault for this week's guitar challenge, Hell's Bells by AC/DC. This week's video is part 2 of my older Furry series featuring 2 very special guests. My first guest is Liam Red Fox, who's been in the fandom since the 1980s, and my second guest is Fuzzy Lumpkin, who's been in the fandom since the early 90s. Recently, some hate against older furries has popped up once again on social media. I thought this would be a good time to continue this series, highlighting the experiences of 2 older furries who continue to contribute to our fandom. Enjoy, and make sure to squish that subscribe button, hit the bell, and leave a thumbs up if you like this video. I'm actually getting caught up on guitar challenges finally, so if you have one for me, let me know in the comments. Just make sure it's a song that actually has a guitar part. Riv will be back in 2 weeks with a video from Denver 2019, so make sure to tune in. Until next time, Lerks over and out.
Hi, I'm Liam Red Fox. I'm a fox in the furry fandom, and I've been doing this for around 30 years. I'm what you would call a gray muzzle. Gray muzzles are anyone that's been in the fandom or is older than 30 years old. Usually, we would consider that a good thing in most fandoms, in that the older furs that have been around for a while have a lot of knowledge that they can impart. We teach how to do things. We run shows, we run events, teach them how to make suits and things. This is a good thing in most fandoms. In the furry fandom, there's been a lot of controversy lately about whether older furs, gray muzzles, such as myself, should even be participating. And I think if we don't take in the gray muzzles, if we don't accept the gray muzzles, we're giving up a part of our history. We're giving up a part of our capabilities and all that knowledge and history that goes along with that. Now, I understand where the younger furs are coming from. You know, anyone over 30 really shouldn't be playing that hardcore, and to be honest, most of us gray muzzles don't play that hardcore. We're here mostly to wander around and enjoy the family feeling and involve ourselves a little bit in the game and try to provide some leadership for the younger furs. I think that's a good thing, and I don't think we should give that up. When I started in the fandom a long time ago, it was a lot smaller community. A lot less events going on, a lot less conventions. There wasn't a lot of knowledge. There weren't a lot of gray muzzles back then, obviously. There wasn't a lot of knowledge to go around. We were making it up as we went along and learning as we went. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot more free environment in some ways. There were a little bit less rules, a little bit less restrictions on what we did, because it was very new and very, out in left field. Now, furry fandom is becoming much more mainstream. There's a lot more control over what we do. We self-regulate a lot more on a lot of things. And a lot of that has come about because of that history that the gray muzzles provide. We provide that continuous history. We provide the learning of what we learned back then, so that the current younger generation doesn't have to try to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And I think that's important. I think the knowledge and history that we impart is an important part of what we do. I think the younger furs could benefit from having us around and just accept us. Not to mention that the furry fandom is about acceptance. That's a big part of who we are, is accepting people for who they are. And I think it's very hypocritical for people in the fandom, the younger furries, to attempt to exclude a group based on their age, where we wouldn't exclude anyone based on their sexuality or any other preference that they've had or any other lifestyle. The fact that they want to exclude people based on something arbitrary that we have no control over, such as age, is a bit hypocritical, and to me a bit ridiculous. So that's just what I'm trying to impart here. Think about that. You know, not all over 30 people are bad. I'm Liam the Red Fox. Like I said, I've been in it for over 30 years, and you know, I just want to be here, be a part of things, pass on the knowledge that I've gained. If I can teach some skill and welcome new people in, I think that's an important part of what we do. Thanks.
Hey guys, this is Fuzzy. I am doing this video for my buddy Rev. He wants to know from the point of a gray muzzle, or us older furs, how we've seen the fandom change over the years. So, I got into the fandom late 80s, early 90s due to a lot of old Disney cartoons like DuckTales, Tailspin, stuff like that. I mean, most cartoons back in the 80s and 90s were all anthro characters. So it was that, and then early 90s furry comic books. So like stuff like Omaha the Cat Dancer, Wildlife, some other things like that really got me into the fandom. Early into the fandom, I did a lot of like furry bowling, that sort of thing. But the fandom back then wasn't, I mean, obviously social media wasn't what it is now. A lot of my interaction was Furry Muck, or it's an IRC channel. It still exists, but it's totally straight text-based. So that was kind of a big thing back then. And, you know, the occasional furry meet. But, you know, looking at the fandom now compared to, you know, even 10, 15 years ago, because of social media, I mean, you have a lot more younger furs. I mean, it's more popular. It's almost trendy nowadays to be a furry. You know, and so going to conventions as an older fur, I mean, almost a lot of times it feels like you're just kind of running around high school. You know, it's kind of weird. So I wish that I saw more 30-plus furs still going to conventions and that sort of thing. I think a lot of times they've been kind of scared off by so many younger furs and you know, just the much younger fan base nowadays, which, you know, it's fun. It's silly. You know, you have all the energy that comes from those young furs, but really, I mean, you know, us older guys, we're in it more for the artwork and less for, I would say, the silliness that comes with it. So, I mean, there's definitely been a huge change in the furry community over the last 10, 15 years. And I find that a lot of us older furs are just kind of disappearing, leaving the scene just because, you know, we feel like we're being dated out, you know? I mean, it's kind of sad. I have a 4-year-old, so for me, like, I want to stay involved in the fandom as much as possible because I really want my son to get involved in that sort of thing when he's old enough. He's really into it. He likes to wear my tails and my ears and that sort of thing. So I really want to try and present a positive spin on the fandom for him when he gets older. So I'm certainly going to be one of the gray muzzles that will try and stick around. You can typically find me at Anthro Northwest every year, sometimes AWOO in Salt Lake City. I am a Pandaren, so you'll see me in a panda suit. So feel free to drop by and say hi. And thanks again for Riven for giving me the opportunity to, you know, express my feelings as a gray muzzle in these changing times.